Welcome back, student, and this is again a very short video on to the peritoneal reflection into the pelvic cavity. Now the question is, write a short note on to the recto-uterine pouch. Short note on to the recto-uterine pouch or pouch of Douglas. It is sometimes also called as pouch of the Douglas. So don't confuse, it is either recto-uterine pouch or it is pouch of Douglas. And both the names are there for the same pouch. Okay, answer. Now this pouch is the most dependent part of the pelvic cavity. That means most inferiorly it is located. Anything which will come into the into the greater sac of peritoneum, okay, it will go into, due to the gravity, it will trickle towards that of the recto-uterine. So the collection of the fluid, the pus or that of the blood, if it is there into the peritoneal cavity, first will collect into this recto-uterine pouch, because gravitationally it is the lowest point, okay, of the peritoneal cavity, okay, and this is located in the pelvic cavity. Okay, this is located in pelvic. Now this is located between the rectum and the uterus. Rectum and uterus. That's why this pouch is called as the recto-uterine pouch. Let us see the orientation of this diagram. This is the pubic symphysis. This is the sacrum with the concavity forward. Coccyx is here, and then you can see that this is behind the pubic symphysis. This is the urinary bladder, and then behind the urinary bladder, this is the section, sagittal section from that of the female. So this is the vagina, okay, and from the vagina this is the uterus, okay, this is uterus is attached onto the upper end of the vagina. This is the posterior fornix of vagina, okay, this space is called as the posterior fornix of vagina. This is the anal canal, and if you trace the anal canal upward, this is the rectum. This is the rectum. Now let us see the reflection of the peritoneum in the pelvic cavity. Say for example, from umbilicus, if you start tracing this peritoneal lining, then it will come up to the pubic symphysis, covering the anterior wall of the abdomen, and then it will cover the superior surface of the urinary bladder, from where it will reflect onto the anterior surface of the uterus, okay. Then from the upper border of the uterus, it will go on to the posterior surface of the uterus, and then it will come after covering to a part of the cervix, to that is the part of the cervix which is, okay, outside the vaginal attachment, okay. Then it will come to the vagina, it will cover to the vagina itself, okay, to that portion of vagina what is called as the posterior fornix of vagina, okay. So this will cover a small part of the vagina, and then it will reflect onto the, first on anterior and then on lateral surface of the rectum here. So this reflection from the uterus to that of the rectum here is in a form of a pouch, because it is going in between the vagina and the rectum for some distance, and this reflection or this pouch like structure is called as the recto-uterine pouch. It is called as recto-uterine pouch. Now if you see the boundaries of this recto-uterine pouch here, its anterior boundary is formed by the uterus. See this? This is formed by the posterior surface of the uterus and the posterior fornix of vagina. So this is the anterior boundary of the recto-uterine pouch. If you see the posterior boundary of the recto-uterine pouch, it is formed by the rectum. It is formed by the rectum itself. That means the peritoneum reflecting onto the rectum, first anteriorly and then on its lateral surface. So it is by the rectum, covered by the peritoneum here. Then the inferior boundary of this recto-uterine pouch is by the rectovaginal fold. See this is rectum and this is vagina. So this is that fold of the peritoneum called as the rectovaginal fold of the peritoneum, and this will limit the pouch inferiorly. Okay, this is inferior boundary of this is there. Okay, so these are the boundaries of the recto-uterine pouch. Okay, there was another pouch called as the uterovesical pouch, this shallow pouch. Okay, we are not talking just now about this, but these are only the two pouches in female which are present, and in male it will be what pouch? It will be only the rectovesical pouch, since there will be no uterus and no vagina. So the peritoneum from rectum will directly come onto the urinary bladder, and in between a shallow pouch will form what is called as the rectovesical. Vesicle means urinary bladder. Okay. Right, coming to the last point, and it is clinical anatomy here, and the clinical anatomy is it is the site for collection of the fluid, blood or pus which can be drained through posterior fornix of vagina or rectus. So most of the time collection takes place here because it is the most dependent part of the peritoneal cavity, and when the pus or the fluid or that of the blood collect here, it has to be taken out. Okay, it may be infected also, so this can be taken out very easily through a route of the posterior fornix of vagina. Just put a wide bore needle into the posterior fornix of vagina and the fluid will be drained, or it can be taken out through the rectum. Okay, through the rectum. Right, this is the a very small short note on to the recto-uterine pouch. Okay, recto-uterine. Thank you very much for watching this video, small videos on to the peritoneal reflexes.